Okay. Uh, okay. Okay. If someone can't hear me still, uh, yeah, I mean, you're lucky. You don't get to hear the shit I speak. So if I'll just go with whoever can hear me for the moment. So this is just gonna be a mechanics session, and yeah, Illicit, you can record whatever you want. If I see you anywhere where I can zero you, I'm going to zero you anyway. So yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, guys, can't hear is fine. I mean, there's nothing much I can do. Probably coin your Discord. Discord like Evany. You coin it more, it starts working. So let's get started. Um, I will take questions on mechanics, uh, and I will try to answer to the best of my capabilities. Try to limit the number of T1 questions, of course. There's only so much I can talk about T1, except that you want to talk about rally mechanics, you want to talk about throne mechanics, or anything like that. Um, I would do my best to answer. Okay, the first question I have is how many T2 do we need? I would say half the numbers of T1. Uh, yeah, I still got to answer. No one else has asked a question. I know you're messing, but I'm gonna answer that with a straight face. Uh, if anyone has any other questions, you can raise your hand and I'll pick you up on stage. Did you upload the baby bear hit yet? Not yet. Mm, we I just uploaded the throne. The one with the beer one, the glitch one. I'll probably upload sometime tomorrow. How do you overcome higher buffs? Okay. Uh, it's a very subjective question. Overcome higher buffs where? Overcome higher buffs in Battlefield or on Throne or like where? Like, I mean, you have to be more objective about it. Like, what do you mean by that? In a rally settings in Battlefield, I mean, it's simple, right? I mean, if you are gonna get hit by something where you think you are gonna like, I mean, you cannot tank, you port, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know anything more to say about that. I want to know which buffs apply to the joiner on rallies. Of course, is a rallier buffs and and what about debuffs? Okay, so every everyone in the rally fight with their own buffs. It's not the rally setters buff everyone gets. The debuffs are the highest debuffs in the whole rally. Whoever has the highest debuffs, that applies. And that is the same for reigning. Like if the castle you're reigning, someone whose march is reigning has higher debuffs, uh, that uh, that actually the castle actually gets the debuff from that march. But of course, the march doesn't count the subs of that person reigning. What's one regret you have that if you could go back you would change? I would probably like when Rom said that I would be open to joining Vig. I'd probably go back and say fuck off. Did the order you joined the rally actually matter? Um, yeah, so it does in terms of like I mean, the first person who joins gets the first shot at it. The second gets the second shot at it. The faster you join, we have seen that is the more points you get. Uh, Now, does it matter if, say, Rom joins first and Mountain joins second and Geek joins third, or when Geek joins first and Rom joins second and Mountain joins third? Does the outcome of the rally change? I don't know. Like, there might be subtle differences, but I couldn't answer this properly. We have never tested that. What is the what is the minimum traps should one build so it can help for defense? Some folks say they don't work. Some say those work if built in a correct way. Uh, okay, so traps, I would say, don't work. I have never ever seen traps kill anything noteworthy. Uh, do some attacking marches waste some turns in traps? I couldn't answer honestly, but what I have never seen is traps get any kills. So I wouldn't really bother making traps. But yeah, I mean, suit yourself. Um, what stuffs actually apply in buildings, relics, temples, or thrones? Um, Marching applies if you're marching into the throne. Defending if you're defending in the throne. Reinforcement should apply if you are in, like, because like, I mean, like, if you have a if you see if you put a march in the temple and then you pull it out, when you go back in again it shows reinforce. So I think reinforcement should apply. Out city should apply, yes. What criteria are you looking for when you decide between a big siege versus T11 siege? If it's a very big target, like somewhere about 50B, T11s are the right way to go to start to get a good exchange. But remember this: if there is even one big siege in, that can spoil T11 completely. So if like, if they're reigning well, I wouldn't even bother T11ing. I would just go straight to Big Siege. Couldn't hear in the past. No, don't mind to say it's not something that you really say. They help in clearing layers. They help in clearing layers, traps. No, I mean, I have never ever seen traps do anything. So yeah. Uh, is there a correct layer to come out strong when we get a rally? Some of them read T11 siege and some print T12. What is the correct way to protect the upper level T13, T14, T15 soldiers? You will have to rephrase this question. I don't really get this question. Sounds like something to do. Am I today in a rally? Does the defense fight your troops one march at a time, one layer at a time? For example, does everything T15 ground get cleared before moving to T14s? Uh, I would say yes. Generally, T15 ground would get cleared before it moves to T14s. So I would say yes to that. One second. Are layers below the tires? Are layers below the tire of your attack layers in the same troop actually worth sending? For example, T1 to T10, say T1 rally, T11 rally. Yes. Uh, j- all the layers are worth sending, all the way from T1 to T15. Uh, every layer fights its own layer, so I mean, that's a no-brainer. You should definitely send all the layers. When breaking a siege defense, do you prefer a siege or mounted attack? What do you mean by when breaking a siege defense? Can you be more clear about it? A defense with high amount of siege and siege buffs. Uh, if it's a big castle, you got to start with T11, kill off all the way till T13, and then go big siege. That's pretty much it. Clear all the siege, then you go for then you range all the calves, and once calves are dead, you can calve it. 15 rounds skipped range T14 and went all the way to T12 round. How is that possible? Uh, T15 round skipped range T14. See, like imagine a real life war scenario. Uh, ground takes on ground. Like I mean, like the ground, the defender's ground is also marching towards the attacker's ground. So the ground will hit the ground first, while range takes shots at the ground. But the attacker's ground is only hitting the ground first. It cannot reach the range till it clears the ground. So there's your answer. Vic doesn't suffer it. How you'll have to still clear the siege if you want to kill the calves easily. Uh, Yeah, that's what I said. That you have to kill the T11, the big siege with T11. Then once you go to T12 siege with the big siege, and once everything is done, you have to range the calves, and then ground the calf the ground. Speaking of traps and about orchard, I don't know my siege. Sorry, what I miss a question. How can you do this? Yeah, the beyond so from the report, what I can see is his debuffs are much higher than yours, which is why he got such a good exchange from that. So Hitman is with us. Hitman is R5 of a C3 Alliance 612, which does really great for their coining level. I think they're in the top 30 in SVS. A great rally setter. So he will be answering questions from a. Let me see. I can't hear anything. Hitman, are you speaking?
No, just waiting. Thank you for having me.
I can hear it. I just need to put it on speaker
I
option.
can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you too. I just need to put this on speaker.
I don't
What
know if I
was?
can answer any questions you're not haven't already answered though.
Yeah, just 1 second. Let me just. How do you? How do you put? Where was the speaker option? Uh okay. Let me just get the headphone. Okay. RDC Jade Dragon. You can ask. You're on stage. Hello.
Once you have Siege Rally to keep, what siege layers are you looking to have cleared before setting an archer coming out with a better to T9 siege? If it's heavy, you want that done. That's what I look for. T9, T10. those really hurt your archers. And if they still have heavy T8, like when I say heavy, I mean depending on the rally size, but let's say 10, not 10, 20 mil layers. It all depends on your rally size. If you are talking VIG level rallies, then it doesn't matter. If you're talking 40 mil, 50 mil rallies with 3500 archer buffs, or let's say lateral buffs of 2500, then you want those siege layers gone. I hope that answered. Below T8, I would say siege doesn't do much.
Okay. Next question. Can you talk to choosing marches when Hitman? Can you talk to choosing marches when attacking? What makes you choose range of keep, type of troops, etc.? Hitman, can you hear
Uh,
me?
yeah, I'm thinking. I think it is all relative. You need to know your rally power, your team, and you need to understand what can you kill with that power. So for us, we're not a mega coining server, but we do pretty well in filling the rallies. I think our lateral buffs are somewhere close to 2700 or 25. We fill close to 50 mil in SVS and maybe 65 in battlefields. We don't have a lot of T15s. So I would say our alliance is like the top of tier 2 uh, level alliances. So how do I choose attacking? I would say I have, based on all the attacks that I've done, based on our average buffs. Um, I have an idea what kind of keeps I can attack, what kind of defense buffs. So for us, about 2500 lateral attack. We look for anything that is low HP below, let's say 2200, because they will debuff and we will debuff too. Starting with Siege, and we go T11. The keep is generally around 15 bill. If it's a 12 bill keep, we go Big Siege. Make sure we clear the 13s and 10s up to 10s, and then we go Arch and then Cav. So it's really understanding your own rally power and what power of the keep and average HP buffs on the keep you can do a good damage on. For us, it's about 2200 HP. The higher we go, the lesser we see the results are. So I guess when you do battlefields, whoever the setter is, they need to start building a mental map of what kind of damage they do based on what they attack. I hope that answered.
Yeah. Can it be the 2 9 full star and 2 chaperone full star? He clears all siege. 14 11 on my side. So I said, okay, just aim for Hans. Okay, for Hans, those runes give multi-attack buff, multi-attack defense, critical attack, damage modifier. What the fuck are those? Half serious questions, half troll question, cause it's Hans. I haven't done Hans. Do you want to answer this, Hitman?
I did hunts once with, I just randomly got invited. It was Frank and someone else. And there were 245s. I'm 43 and still got first. I don't think I know the exact answer, but I go for the attack buffs, multi attack, not the debuffs, the multi attack buffs. Hunts is capped at 2500 buffs for us. So what you really need in Hunts is bigger march sizes. You need the rally power to be 5 billion above. So if someone has lower march size, your average power will be low and you can't clear it. We did a lot of mixed marches Hunts, but if you're not on a voice call, you can't do mixed marches. So what you really need is those multiple attack buffs. Keep upgrading them. When you do, you will see that you can upgrade them. and use personal. Everyone should use personal buffs every round.
Right.
This is limited knowledge, by the way. I have not tested it multiple times. It worked for me.
I've never done hunts, so okay. For siege HP debuff in specific, I think this guy is among the top subgens. I don't think this guy is great for siege HP. I would say Yan or Gilgamesh is yeah Yan or Gilgamesh is the best for siege HP debuff. But the problem with G is his siege HP debuff comes in the 10th star, which is almost 50%, and Yan even at full spec is 55%, and you can get him from the sea exploration events. Yeah, that's what I would suggest. This guy is much greater for range HP debuff.
Isn't
Hitman, you want to add something?
isn't Gilgamesh teach defense though, not
No,
HP?
the 10th star is 50%, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
The
but it's
10th star
defense. It's defense though, not HP.
also
Oh
HP,
no,
bro.
no, it is HP. It is HP. Never mind.
Also
Yes.
HP, yes.
Yep, yep, yep. Never mind.
So yeah, I mean, if you can go to the 10th star. So this is what I suggest. Like if you're like coining once a month or something, make sure you coin in the events like Athens or Bonaparte, so that you can get subgens also with it. And you can get like you could get G before, you could get Zista. So make sure you coin in those events. It is always about smart coining and picking the right events to coin. The next question is: can you walk us through how to rally a 4B Cav Keep SVS? Is your question really 4B? Because 4B is a blind rally, I think. I mean, maybe Hitman, you can add something to this.
I'm not sure if I understand the question.
Uh, can you walk us through how to rally 4B Cav Keep SVS?
I don't think that's a complete question. You do a arch rally. Cav keep means the keep has a lot of calves, or you want to rally cav? What does that mean?
I'm not sure, but I mean, 4B Keep, I mean, any rally, I mean, even Cav Keep. Okay, yeah. I mean, don't rally siege or ground. The other two are just fine. When you have decent buffs and choreo gear on wall general and have one P1 mounted, do you still need flats? I usually do change on my dragon as it is cheaper. If flats are still needed, do you recommend dragon? Hitman, do you want to take this?
I don't know which one is it. Wait, where is that question?
Death Trapper.
When you have decent buffs on choreo gear on wall. And I have one build T1 multi, still need flats. I usually do change on my dragon as it's cheaper. If flats are still needed, you recommend dragon. Okay, so once again, I think every question is it depends. Okay, so to give you a perspective, I also have about 1.3 billion T1, and I do run flats on wall and on dragon. The reason being, if your T1 wall survives, it usually holds against arch rallies, incoming, even siege. Actually, it slows down everything. So, not that I get attacked a lot, but it still works. So if you, I would say when you ask a question, mention your power, your keep level. It's better. It's easier to answer your question because everything is relative. I'm K43. We usually go against 200 billion sign up power in battlefield. I don't get attacked, but I still run those flats. If I port into a rally, a 40-50 mil rally, I can easily tank that. And usually those T1 helps. And if they have those flats on the wall and dragon, that's like for yeah, it's about 12 flats. And my for my keep, because of my layers, I don't really run siege attack, I run ground attack on the wall.
K40 10B power. Do you just do flats or for attack or defense on HP? At 10B, yes, I think you gotta do flats. Uh, because what you want is for the T1 calf to be stopped at your at your calves. Like you want your calves to absorb the archers. So maybe two rallies, maybe one extra rally. So yeah, I mean definitely go flats because I believe at K4010B, unless you're on a completely new server, uh, your percentages won't be that good that it can like your percentages can actually absorb a rally.
Big T mentioned a very valid point, Viper.
Sorry, yeah, I saw that. Say 16, like we all have them. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean if you don't have T16, you just gotta coin harder. So I don't think.
Just coin harder.
Are there certain people you put flat percentages on your wall, general? I would say HP is where you definitely want flats because like especially for calves, uh, you want the calves to absorb the hits, right? So you definitely go for flats on HP. A lot of people have talked about mounted attack flats and calves actually doing the killing against archers, but I mean I don't have that much experience with flats, but for HP definitely flats.
I think for attack,
You want to add something to this? Yeah.
yeah, I think for attack, if you are top heavy, adding flats make those top troops inefficient. If you are someone in your alliance who gets attacked right off the bat, um, then that means you still have a lot of top troops. In that case, don't go all flat. If you are a trap, definitely go all flat. If you're someone in your alliance that gets attacked really towards the end and not in the beginning, by the end you don't have any top troops, yeah, you can go flat. It's always a trade off because this doesn't work all the time. Like, for example, in All Stars or in Shalons. So it all depends. But yeah, if you have top troops, they engage, flats don't help. So go with what your situation is.
Siege, the one with higher buffs or debuffs, well, not always. It's also about quantity in Siege. So buffs and debuffs are definitely important, but yeah, I think it's also about the quantity in Siege. Do you use a different march setup for reinforcing a keeper building versus attacking? If like, yes, can you explain the setup for both? Hitman, do you want to take this?
What am I taking? Do you... Who's this? Sorry, I missed this question.
Malfrey 10. Let me tag you.
Reinforcing. Yeah, Mansi, if you are a strong keep or a weak keep, it depends. March size depends. You generally go top heavy for defense, for defending buildings, reinforcing. For attacking, you go depending on the troop type, but generally you don't go too top heavy unless it's a ground or sometimes even cav.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so for example, my march in the throne, my ground march in the throne has about 7.5 million T16 ground. So yeah, just very top heavy in buildings. That's what I would say. K41 8B, what level buff and layer setup do you recommend for siege defense? K41 8B, I don't
What
think
server?
siege defense.
What server
This
though?
one.
What server? Because sorry, what continent? That
This
server.
is it will be C755. I
Yeah.
don't recommend siege defense. Siege defense is not what you do at K41 8B. You defend with cav. Remember, setting up a cav defense is much cheaper than a siege defense. A siege defense is very expensive to set up because you have to set up siege HP on your wall, plus you have to set up siege HP debuff. And I don't think at K41 8B that's what you're looking to set up. Decent coiner, yes, but I just don't see it. I just don't see the need of a siege defense at 8BK41. Hitman, you want to add something to
Yeah,
that?
same. Yeah, don't add siege layers. It's points for others. You can't even have siege layers at 8B. Siege has the lowest attack stat, HP stat. So for it to be effective, you would have to be really fat in layers, and that's just bad for K41 because you will get soloed. I'm assuming You will, depending on your sign up power, battlefield, SVS, you will see K44s, 45s that'll solo you. Better to have a cav wall and cav defense, and even ground if you can have ground layers.
Yep.
Eight, 8B, maybe 8 million layers, at least 10 million layers.
Yeah.
There at the bottom.
It also depends on, like what kind of alliance you are in. Like for example, let's talk about Hitman's alliance. So they have a rule that all of them push power together.
Yes.
They don't like none of them push power alone. So I believe that they don't really go heavy layers because that really pushes up power without increasing the marches, number of attacking marches. So that's something I think I really learned from NQG. Of course, in VIG we don't have to think about that because we're always like at top of the slot. But NQG always had this thing like they push power together. So the team was always spread extremely laterally. Hitman,
Yeah,
can you
we
explain
have.
what do you push
Yeah,
power
we
together?
have. We have at least 4 keeps around 17 to 19 bill. Um, then we have around 4 keeps around 10 to 14 bill, 10 to 13 bill. Then we have another 4 to 5 keeps around 6 to 8 bill. Depending on your coining, we try to push power laterally. There are multiple advantages for that. Of course, I think most good alliances do that. But what that means is we our defenses are also based on that power. So we have. So if I'm pushing power, it's not just top troops; it's layers. It's thinking of what I'm going to face in battlefield, what kind of attack is coming. If I just push top, I'll be top heavy. We will face much bigger alliances, and our coinings won't match. Their buffs will be higher, so we'll just lose. What you want to do is push power to be relatively top of your buff bracket. So if your buffs are around, let's say 3,000, I think your power alliance power should be roughly around below 200 billion. Sign up power in battlefield below 150 billion, 130 billion. That gives you an advantage. So that means you can only push certain amount of power. You don't want to push too much in layers, then you're just defense keep, which is no point. So relatively speaking, for 8 or 10 bill keep, 5 to 7 million layers for ground and calves or archers, not calves, ground arch. Cav should be at the T1, T2, T3 level. And siege, you want to keep minimum. Calves also, you want to keep minimum based on your buffs.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
So we have Rom also on the page. What level and size do you find siege defense effective? Again, siege defense is so expensive. It depends uh, on how big a corner you are. I would say for the numbers needed, it would be definitely above 25p maybe, where I would shift to siege, defending with siege instead of cav. Cav is such a cheap way to defend, just makes so much sense that you want to defend with cav than siege unless you're a mega corner. Rom, you want to add something to this?
yeah, I
Because
was
I
gonna
think
say
you are.
I've I've kind of looked at different brackets and stuff, and I agree. Cav is the cheapest way to defend. On my account, I've got uh, a solid T1 wall, and I've got thick Cav layers. I run all flats, attack, defense, and HP. Actually, not defense, because defense didn't make much of a difference. But attack and HP, I run Cav flats. And I just try and sort of, depending on the team we go up against, I try and kind of hide at the beginning until I get we get some siege rallies off and I know my top tier siege is dead. And then I can take solos easily without losing a lot of power. So that's kind of what I've worked with. I had a ground debuff based setup before, and I'm now switching more towards an arch attack cav HP debuff as I'm starting to push up in power because that will be the next stage. So trying to get myself set up for it. So yeah, that's kind of my take on it. Siege is really, really expensive. I can't stress that enough.
Okay, so I'm thinking to coin for an in-city mounted castle. Do you think it will help me for my T1? I mean, a
um,
mounted in-city mounted castle gives like 30% buff, and that's 2k for it. And that too for a T1 trap. That's just a waste of money. Uh, Hitman, you want to add something to
I
this?
think traps should only focus on debuffs, not high percentage.
mhm.
Yeah, I mean, 30%, 2k, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I mean,
30%
if,
in flats is nothing.
I mean, you're looking for, yeah, and Hitman said, like just try to debuff range as much as possible. And yeah, percentage buffs are not, yeah, pretty much. I mean, not exactly, not totally useless, but I wouldn't like coin a castle for a T1 trap. It just doesn't make sense.
I mean, if you're thinking of caking and you're looking at sort of the high end civ gear, and I don't know, you've sort of put money away for a few months and you want a cake, then maybe yes, if you can get a castle on top, that'll be good. But I wouldn't cake just for a castle. Like it's more of a bonus, nice to have. Like the event, not this one, the one before where you had the um, bunker duty gen and you had a castle, and yeah, so that would have been a good cake to hit because the bunker duty gen helps a lot, and then but not for a T1 trap, of course, but in general.
Yeah, and again, like if you are like a caker once in 2 months or 3 months, the only cake you should do, or 4 months, the only cake you should do during the one-star Napoleon Prawn versus five-star or five red star Roland. Bro, just write it down in an Excel sheet and see which attributes are better. I will say like you should prefer mounted troop attack and mounted troop HP over mounted troop defense. But except that, just write it in an Excel sheet, and you know which one is better. I don't think any of us can answer the question on the top from the top of our head.
No,
Hitman or Rom, you want to take this?
What are
no,
we
I mean,
answering?
like, or we can't be expected to remember every single general and like how many stars gives what buffs. That's just ridiculous. If you're looking at a particular comparison, it's easy enough to sort of look at that general, what you get out of 5-star roll and what you get out of a 1-star Napoleon, and you can do it, or you can use one of the spreadsheets. But off the top of our heads, yeah, just not gonna happen, is it?
I would like to add something there, guys. We don't really do too many spreadsheets in terms of comparisons and stuff, and it still works out as long as you understand your keep and you're doing what's best for your keep. I'm not saying spreadsheets are bad, but what's more important is to understand the basics of the game and understand your keeps and its limitation and what works for your alliance, what your for your power level. Um, Having these spreadsheets and comparisons, I mean, I personally haven't done them, and it doesn't make much difference for my game as long as I have a rough idea. Because nothing is, I would say, nothing really adds exact uh, value to your build when you're attacking someone. For example, if you scout a keep, you see certain build. Probably there's an ideal rally for that keep where it might be like a certain number of two siege and six archers and two cavs or whatever. But there's no time to adjust your presets and have that perfect rally. So we go with the usual quad setup, arch cav, siege arch cav ground. Do we really look for buffs or debuffs at the point? No, we just do the best we can. So, like Rom and Viper said, just look at what you have in the keep, do a quick math. If Roland is better, go with Roland. It won't make much difference, honestly, when your Roland is joining a rally and it's 1/10 of a rally or 1/5 of a rally.
Yeah, and that's my sort of take on the previous question about rally joining orders as well, right? These are things that if you look at the minute detail of it and sit down and compare reports, see how many troops that killed when it joined at that level and things like that. Yeah, you're probably gonna find a difference, but how realistic is it? Like when you're setting a rally on someone, the guy can port, the guy can bubble, he can get a ton of rains. So there's a whole lot of things happening when a rally is being set. You can't sit there and go, you join first, you join second, like that guy joins third. It just does not work. It's never going to work. So what's the point of breaking your head over it? You know, it just doesn't make sense. It's not realistic.
Anyone asking these questions, I would say what's more important is to understand this is a team game. It's not a solo game. So your keep, it's fine if you're fine tuning your keep. What's more important is to understand if you're playing in island servers, in server which have a rally of 14, 18, 20 mil. If you're doing that, these questions are helping your keep but are not really helping your game. So when you're asking that question, mention like what kind of rally size you have, what kind of power you have in the alliance. That also helps understand your situation and what you should do for that situation. Like for example, what VIG does doesn't apply to NQG. We can't do that.
What defense general assistant do you run for your camp defense? What flags do you focus on? Flags, as I said, mounted. We already discussed it. Mounted HP is what I think is most important. From dual mounted attack, and it does kill. So yeah, that. Yeah, and as Rom said, mounted defense is not that popular. What defense general? I think Boudica and Naumata are the best. Some people do use Yo and Naumata. Both works. Yeah, you guys want to add anything to this?
Yeah, that's pretty standard. Yeah, Boudica and the guy with the red armor. If you can afford that guy, yeah. Usually traps don't get that guy. So
What the
again,
fuck?
those
Who let Kala speak?
I think that's Illicet's doing. Oh no, Anya did.
Um, how can I remove him from speaker? Oh, I can, but okay, I'll let him be. Okay. What do you think is the starting point for T1 trap? How many tactical troops should I build? Should I build a long troop type? I mean, someone wants to answer this.
What type of trap is it? Like cav, ground, ranged? Because each have sort of like a level of troops that you need to have, an amount of troops that you need to have before they're really effective. Mounted, then yeah, about 500 mil is a good starting point, I'd say. T1, half T2, half of that in T3, and then half of that all the way up to T7, even T9 if you can afford it. That's kind of what I'm going by, and it's worked well. And then as I build, I kind of build evenly across all of that. So yeah, that's kind of what I stick with. But again, there might be an ideal ratio, but I really can't be asked to sit there and see if I have to put 500 more troops in there, 500 more here. It just works, It's not worth nitpicking because it's something that's going to keep changing until I hit the cap of 2.1 bill T1s and then onwards.
What means best help defend against big siege rallies? There are a number of players that come rally. It depends. So the first question is what runes help best defend against Big Siege rally? Uh, is different. A Big Siege rune is basically absorbing damage also. So the defender's Big Siege doesn't get hidden all the time. But if you're ruining with Cav, Cavs don't absorb any damage, just kill. So overall exchange will be better if you big siege. But if you want to not lose any troops and kill, then you send Cavs. If you send big siege, your big siege will get killed and also kill, but the overall power exchange will be better. Is there a number of rings or layers that completely disrupt a big siege rally? No, I'm so sorry. I would have another. Does the rally setter buffs matter? The rally setter buff of course matters. Like at the end of the day, he's the first person hitting. So yes, his buffs matter. But at the end of the day, if everyone else's buffs are dope, the rally will still do damage. You guys want to add to this?
No, I've always been of the thought that a rally setter doesn't necessarily have to be the guy with the biggest buffs. If he's a good setter, if he's got a good rally size, but it's more about making those crunch decisions. Like you need to be able to look at reports and gauge what you need to set next, and come up with ways to catch people if they catch rain, set fakes, things like that. That matters more for a rally setter, in my opinion, than what his buffs are, because that person with the buffs is most probably going to be in that rally anyway. So if you can get a better setter, then yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be the highest buffs.
And setting, I would say, is different for Battlefield versus SVS. So two
Yep.
different ball games, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Battlefields is all speed, SVS is all tactics.
Yep.
So whoever's asking these questions, if you're a filler versus if you're a setter, that also adds some depth to your question, because if you're a setter, you need to build your keep differently. If you're a smaller alliance, because you will get targeted. If you're a filler in a bigger alliance, again, a different situation. You might not even have to build your keep the same way. I would assume most of the people asking questions are not tier 1 alliances.
Does your alliance use similar setup for March presets? Does it help with rallies? Yes. Similar March presets help with rallies.
Definitely don't mix up.
Yep. 100%.
We have a template which Kara
I,
sent us. I think Kara sent it in QG also,
yes,
which we use.
we personally don't add T12 siege to big siege. I know many alliances add. We don't
We
add.
don't. We don't either.
Yeah, but I think Glorf GOT does. I don't know if RSP does. RSP does. But Glorf asked us to add, and I've noticed that it doesn't work well for us. For our alliance
No,
power, lateral
not at
buff.
all. No, T12 is just waste. We don't add it at all. I don't think T12 Siege ever does anything good.
Mhm.
Yeah, we don't add it to T11 also. So when we merged, there were some um, people. Yeah, X-Wing, he did. He came, said for us once. He said T12 add a little bit. It helps. Um, I'm not making this up. You can ask Glor. I told him it doesn't work for us. He didn't say add. He said it helps. Add some, but I don't know if he still does. It doesn't work for us, not for our power size and our lateral buffs. I think for VIG, it probably would smash anyway, but not for us. So yeah, similar March presets help. What we do differently is depending on if we are trying to push someone in Battlefield for points, then we adjust presets. Stronger keeps bring their marches down a little bit so that the other keeps can get some higher kills.
Yeah, we have the same layering. Uh, a lot of uh, uh, a lot of uh, alliances use different layers. We use 1,000 each layer.
I've started seeing people using 10,000. I don't know if that's working out.
A lot of people use 20,000 also.
Does
I
it
think
really work?
RSP I think RSP uses a higher layer than us.
5 to 10K layers, I think. But yeah, it's just a matter of trying to outlayer the people you're hitting. But I don't know. It's just um, yeah, we just stick with 1K and it works. So haven't really put much of a thought into it because
I
you can
do.
put 10K layers and still you're not gonna like outlayer a keep that you're hitting. So I don't really see a point. The way I look at it, you're taking more space from troops that actually do the killing. Like you could have that many more T12 archers or T13 Cavs or T13 siege. Um, you know, it's just yeah, fine numbers really. So
I would say though, if you are like the biggest, strongest keep in your alliance with the bigger march size, with your backup general, those layers can be different. For example, I do this, and it's not 100% effective, but it does help. For example, if I'm sending a ground reen, my backup ground has range bonus book and 50 to 100k of range layers for 14 13s, and they do
yeah,
help. But
on
that's
a
for
and even buildings for that matter, I'd
yes.
agree. But on attack marches, not so much.
No, no, not an attack. But it's only for a bigger march with higher buffs. Don't do that for the smaller buffs and smaller march.
Would
Um,
you go to K41 or open T15s first?
41.
Uh,
If you have the scrolls, I would say.
yeah, if you have the scrolls, go for K41. And also, I think it depends on what your alliance needs more than anything else. Like if you're, I don't know, a top 3, 4 keep in your team and your rallies could do with more T15s in them, then maybe you should prioritize T15s. But buffs over troops is usually the way I lean to.
yeah, I think to K43 is low on scrolls. Like my low, everyone's low because I'm a dirty. But yeah, so basically it's like I think it's 110 for MS6, 150 for MS7, 100 for MA8. So yeah, I would say like till K43 you can go and then look at T15 because remember T15 just eats a lot of gold too. So yeah, your research is really gonna suffer.
I don't think small archer or small mounted presets are effective at all. I've never used them, never tried them. We do small archer when we are out of troops and trying to hit someone's T1 wall, but that's not by choice. That's just we don't have any alternative at that point.
Yeah, I don't use small archers too.
Some people have even tried flat archers. I don't think that works either.
No, it didn't work too well.
K43, yeah, I mean, I would go to K43 first and then open T15. Yes. If I have the scrolls, I'll go to K43 then open T15. Is it
Abs-
worth to fully find one general to siege percentage difference? Okay, Keaton, again, like as Hitman said, a lot of times that it is very, very relative, right? It depends on your size, on who you're facing. But unless you're a mega con, as we said before, Don't go. Don't try to defend with siege. It doesn't work. It's really expensive.
In other words, if you are anything, at least from my point of view, if you're anything under, let's say, 5, 6, 7, 8 billion, even, I will big siege solo that keep in battlefield. Most likely doesn't have siege layers to defend against a big siege solo with decent buffs. I think for Viper, that's probably 15, 20 bill keep. 15 bill keep at least Viper that you solo big siege.
Depends. I mean, if it's not a mega coin, probably 20 bill also.
Yeah, so relatively speaking, siege defense is only worth it if you are like over 10, 15 billion. 15 billion. Otherwise, don't even worry about it. It's just points for the opponents.
Yup. Fucking getting hit with siege sucks.
So we rallied a keep last night. It was a 14 bill keep. And I was just checking. That guy ghosted his top siege and he was reinforced. So
Okay.
the big siege just cleared through all the siege and arch. He had ghosted his 14s and 13s. So for siege defense, if you don't have enough top siege, entire siege layers are just points.
Yeah.
We cleared through his siege and arch. Now, if he had those top, he would have survived some.
We did on a 25 bill keep in Val. Kind of same situation.
Uh,
We
l-
cleared all the
l-
siege.
Let me just share my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, share your screen. Share it to the screen. Where is the share screen option? It's a video option, right? No. Wait,
Or you can
where was the screen option?
don't accidentally hit the camera.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
I saw that. Where is the share screen option?
Is it better now, Bobby? Fucking. I don't know. I'm on my PC. Don't know what's going on.
If you're on iPhone, scroll up. I think it should show you
Scroll up where? It's not there.
at the bottom of your screen.
At the bottom of the screen, there is a leave option.
If it's the same report Rom has, maybe he can share.
Can you share it on AC, bro? I wasn't on my account.
Okay. It's already on AC, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
I just shared. I just shared it a few hours ago.
Scrolling. Right. Okay. Got it. Okay. There we go. So that's the report. Viper, you want to walk through it?
Yeah. So you can walk through it. It's fine.
Okay. So yeah, it was a 25, 26 bill keep. They were trying to rally the throne, and yeah, obviously we set counter rallies. So you can see this was a big siege rally. This was the first one. So we did that, and it did 9.5 bill for about 9.5, 9.8 to 6.2. We killed 231 million troops. So those were the buffs and debuffs in play. So yeah, obviously the siege HP debuff was 480, whereas they were getting hit by 3430, and Viper's on in rally siege debuff was twice what the person had almost. So if we look at the report, when we go in, so rains, there weren't any sort of substantial rains. This one was a ground rain. That one was, I don't know what the fuck that is. That one's an arch rain, and then again with the 4.3 mil general, 4.8 mil general siege rain, and then you've got another arch rain, a kind of decent arch rain. So basically, the siege just went and killed all their siege. So they had T15s as well. So going through the report, so basically you can see T15s killed like 3.5 mil of the siege, 1.5 by the 14s, 5.6 on the 13s, and then the rest of it was just killing layers basically. So we got through all the siege, and then you can tell that because the arch were starting to be cleared. So we got through all the siege, and then we got through the range as well, T15, 14, 13, 12s, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, probably all the range as well. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yep. So it killed all the siege, all the ranged, and pretty much started. I'd say started hitting the calves or ground at that point. Yeah, started hitting the ground, and that's where the rally got stopped. And in addition, it cleared all the reinforcing arc trains as well. So you can see that all of that was gone. You can see that better here. So 1.3 mil T13. So pretty much cleared off all the siege and range in the keep, um, including the reigns. And then the follow up was a cav. So the cav rally, and then when we look at buffs, so yeah, cav HP debuff was like 350%, which I think you can get pretty much just by doing the research in the academy. So not much else done to increase that cav HP defense, which I think a keep at that size should really be working on. Um, so yeah, so because of the cav HP being as low, and the fact that the keep didn't have any archers, so it was just basically calves and ground. So yeah, we just got through all of that relatively low loss or no loss, I'd say, and just yeah, just run rampant with the calves. So that was kind of it, basically for that rally sequence. So if you don't have proper buffs to sort of defend against siege, then being a keep at that size and not having the buffs to kind of defend against siege, especially siege HP debuff being as low, um, it just it just doesn't help. You just need the reins to at least support you, or this is basically what's going to happen.
And this is why I say that, like, I mean, his buffs are not bad. Debuffs are average, but Siege, unless you are like, I mean, if you want to defend with Siege and not go like flats on calves, which is the cheapest way to defend, which I meant, uh,
Mhm.
then you, it's very expensive. You gotta get better buffs and debuffs. Otherwise, the 25B keep will just hold.
Yep. And that was a K42, by the way, for context.
Alright, guys. If you guys have any other questions, or we'll be closing this session.
Lucifer just started listening. Lucifer said, I would simply just add one thing. This is a team game, guys. If you're If you're playing in an island server with 3-4 players, move on. Join another server. It's never too late. Don't get attached to your keep.
Unless you're
Look,
really quick.
wait a second. I just joined right now. Okay, the session is not
Well,
over.
guys, that's it. Thank you everyone for joining us. Hi, Khalid.
He joins and his audio doesn't work.
Okay, I muted him. I muted him. No one needs to go through
Okay.
this.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't realize I muted him.
Yeah, he's unmuted.
He no, he is muted, bro. I muted him.
Khalid, speak, bro. We want to see if we can hear you.
He doesn't. He's speaking probably. He doesn't realize he's muted.
I can speak
Give
if
him
I
give
want.
him 1 hour. He'll realize. I
Khalid, why
told
are
him
you
he's
muting yourself, bro? I think he muted himself, thinking he's unmuting.
Yeah, that was the bluff.
Don't
That was the.
tell him, okay?
Khalid, are you speaking, bro? We can't hear you.
Listen, I'm speaking with the audience. I don't speak with you. Okay.
I guess we can't hear Khalid now.
Yeah.
I bet everyone
Khalid,
wanted to listen to Khalid. Why are you being such a bully, Viper?
but what? Where are?
Didn't say anything.
But where are you at this time of the night, Khalid? It seems like
I'm listen, I'm traveling by my car, okay? I forgot about this session.
are you a nomad, Khalid? Why are you always traveling?
That's my life, bro.
Hey, at least he's not in the elevator for once.
That's either elevator or car, one of them. No.
Bro, do you speak with your car as well, like you do with the elevator?
At
Khalid,
least in my yes.
Khalid, Lucifer has a question. Viper said
Yes,
no
Lucifer.
T12 siege rally, and I'm curious.
Wait,
When Viper said no T12 on Big Siege rally, and I'm curious. When I add some, they tend to do some work depending on the person I'm hitting, of course. So he's
that's
curious
true.
about T12.
That's true. T12 not doing anything.
No, he's saying it does thing.
Yeah, because you're hitting very bad keeps that still K30 or K32.
I'm
You
surprised
know,
Khalid didn't go with because you're noob.
okay, Lucifer. I mean, it might be doing some work in some cases, but we have found we get better results when we just T12 complete. Yeah, I seen the report, and I am not saying that it doesn't do any work in any case, but I'm saying over a period of time, we have seen that it doesn't do as much. Only T13 and 14 would do better than something which has T12. That's all we are saying. And
That's
again, it can be
true.
that in some cases it works.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the report that you shared, bro, like 2 mil T13s killed 5 mil troops, whereas almost 1.8 mil, almost 2 mil T12s killed 3 mil troops. So it works on weak keeps, but even then it doesn't kill as much. If you went with 4 mil T4 T13s, that would have done way more kills than what the T12s did.
They also have different range, so
Yep.
they don't play the same attack. Better to when you do Big Siege, better to just be in the same range as 14 and 13.
Yeah, Khalid, I'm gonna move you off stage. Just too much
Look,
noise,
you
bro.
it sounds like you're in the middle of the rain.
No, he's driving through the
Oh, you
desert with his windows down, probably
uh
trying to get as much noise as he can.
Rome
Define.
Huntress asked you to define weak keeps.
I'm a weak keep. There you go. That's a definition.
Okay, next question.
Okay. We'll take like two or three last questions and then we close this. If anyone has any questions.
I think I would like to add something. When people were asking about siege rallies, what do you do? How do you start? What's more important? If you are not a tier one alliance, most likely you don't have many players with good siege attack and HP in the rally. So what I try to do is, in my alliance at least, when we are doing T11 in SVS, because it's very point negative rally, I try to not let people. I try to ask people to not join if you have a siege HP lower than a certain amount. For us, it's like if it's less than 1800, don't join the rally. If your attack is less than 22, don't join the rally because your siege is just going to die. So siege rally, at least for points purposes, if you're not a premium like tier one alliance, be very conscious of who's joining. If you join with weaker keeps, you're just giving the points away. They will not kill anything. They will just die. So don't do a T11 if you don't have at least, let's say, 30 mil rally with strong buffs. 5-6 strong marches, 6-7 strong marches. Don't do a T11 against a strong keep.
Yeah,
Okay. When reading the throne, do we want siege mark? So we will show you a basic setup of how the victory. Uh, okay. Let me just do this. Sure.
Well, Viper figures that out. One thing I'd add, Hitman, is what I completely agree with what you said. What I used to do on my previous.
What the fuck? What the fuck do you mean by well Viper figures it out?
Look at that! Look at that red Wi-Fi. Clear that first.
Shut your stupid mouth.
He's been preparing. Look, what are you doing, bro? There's no reports.
You were saying, Rom.
Yeah. I used to have people that didn't have good siege buffs just send layers, just like 1,000 each, have a preset, and just join siege rallies with that. It kind of helped with killing more troops with what good marches we had. So that might be something if you have the space.
I think the problem is that in the heat of the moment, asking them to then send 1,000 layer preset, I'm more worried someone will send bigger troops and fuck up the whole
Yeah.
rally.
Okay, so this is holy shit.
Yeah, we don't
I
do
don't
siege flats either.
so.
I don't know. Some people think siege flats help. There's a math that apparently adds up that it helps, but we don't do siege flats on T11 even, and it works just fine for us.
Yeah, agreed. Just too many marches, too many setups.
Okay, so this is how we set up Throne. So me, I go with about 6.3 million T16 ground, 1.8 million T15 ground, and 1,000 layers, and uh, basically I go with 6.3 million T16 ground because that's what I have. If I had more T16, I would put more T16 ground on the Throne. And the next person, Mountain, also goes with 4.5 million T16 ground because that's how many he has. 4 million T15 ground. So as you can see, it's really really heavy top layers, and that's how we get the Throne. So me and Mountain go ground. I think Boss and Geek will go range. Boss also goes ground. Sorry, so Geek will go range. Um, So and Kara and Zero generally join in late, right? So like our top six keeps, this is how it. Zero also goes in ground. He actually entered within the first rally, but generally the plan is for Zero and enter after the first hit is done. Uh, so then a lot of range like from like From then on, a lot of people are range. Like Khalid is range, Katara is range, uh, Alan is range, Aiko is range. So the top keeps go ground, and then just after that, like all the mid keeps go range, and then Josh is ground, and this Anubis is ground. So the top four keys out of the top four keys, like the three are ground, one is range, and then after that, all are like range. Like 5 to 10 would be range, and then 11 to a little bit more ground. So the point of this is the first one was a siege rally. Uh, the second one was an arch rally. Sorry. Where is the second one? Yeah, yeah. The second one is the arch rally. Again, doesn't. But what it starts doing is a cav rally. And as you know, like I have done a video on this before, cav and ground are probably the best way to clear a throne. So what we want is a strong enough defense entity to hold the cav. So we are not worried about siege. That's why we don't put siege in there. We are not really worried about. So we don't put like we don't put anything for range there. What we are really worried about is cavs. And this was like a smaller rally, like 32 million or something, and we had 80 million on still. So yeah, I mean it didn't do much, but it you see it killed half my mark. I'm thinking 620 million would be like a lot of mountains march. Let me just go to mountains march. Yeah, mountains march 2.3 million P16 killed, right? So that's what we really worry about. Cavs clearing all the ground, and then ground just running rampant and killing everything. So that's what we are really worried about. So we just do ground and range. You can put siege. What happens is if you put siege and you're worried about the rally getting your range, then basically one siege takes turns while the ground reaches the siege and kills it. You can put calves because if they siege it, calves will reach siege first and kill it. But then when you put calves, someone ranging it would absolutely like your calves are just gonna be there for dying, right? Uh, what we're also worried about when I said we are not worried about range, what we are worried about is a full range. So basically, 80 million thrown, and that surprisingly does really. And I'll tell you why. It's because range has some free gets some free turns on ground, right? Imagine a real battlefield scenario. Archers are taking turns, and before the defender's range comes in range with your archer, the archers gets free rounds on your ground. You have 30 million ground against 80 million archers, which are getting free rounds, right? So the attacker's archers actually kills the ground, and then you're left with the 80 million versus 30 million archers, and then I mean archers is probably the only best way to one tap. But if the ground has enough high HP and defense, and they get to the archers, ground of course obliterates archers. That's the question about
Drone, yeah. I
Tony.
see a lot of people talking about siege HP debuff, siege HP debuff. I would say if you're not a keep that is built for siege defense, don't worry about siege HP debuff. Go for range and maybe even cav attack. If you're going to get ranged and caved, build that debuff before you build siege HP. If you are 10 build keep, your siege HP debuff is doing jack shit. Don't do it. Don't waste on siege debuff. If you are a siege defense keep 15, 18, 20 build, then yeah, then go for siege HP debuff. That's my suggestion. I don't know how you guys do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree, but I also kind of try and plan long term, knowing that it's going to cost me a bit in the sort of transition period, even if the transition period's a year. But I do try and work long term because I know eventually I want to get there. And I just have to sort of make decisions that I'm not wasting stuff.
Don't you
So that's
think that
what I do.
eventually the eventuality of your decision is so far in the future that Evany would keep pushing the keeps to the point that the bus debus would ratio relatively will still stay the same.
I know, but at the end of the day, I need to sort of work towards it, or I'm just gonna be working on the interim stuff. Like ground debuffs, I had a whole bunch of Parthian gear for ground debuffs. Right now that I've moved past where I'm not getting ground soloed anymore, it's just stuff that I have to throw away, and that's a relatively easy thing to do, as opposed to I don't know getting Civ gear that's gonna give me those debuffs, even if it is the cake 4 piece. So I do try and pick and choose. I've got some stuff that's made and it's sort of sitting in the shelves, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not on my subgens for the debuff, but it's already kind of there, and I know when I switch to it, I've got that sat there.
I mean, it's a difficult for a low coining or non coining keep because the game itself moves so fast in terms of upgrades and new stuff that you try to save things, and by the time you have enough to make it useful, it's useless
Yeah,
because they came up with, who knows, next 6 months they might come up with another type of gear that is twice as powerful as Civ gear, and then your Civ gear saved is useless. Or they come up with an assistant dragon. Who knows? Like the game moves so fast that the pay to win advantage will always have that gap. So, in my opinion, if you have stuff that you're sitting on, use it now. Your buffs now are much more worth it than your buffs in future. But I don't. I know it doesn't fully apply to non-coiners because you just can't like fully ascend a general or amplify a gear. So I would say just focus on debuffs if you're a lower keep, and debuffs. Don't worry about siege HP debuff. Worry about debuffs based on what you get attacked with most, and get it now. Whatever you can get now. Don't think about 6 months down. Game will change in 6 months. A lot of people asking about siege HP, and if you're not siege defense keep, don't worry about siege HP.
yeah,
You will just not have enough siege HP to make it efficient anyway. I think to really enjoy a certain level of gaming, you need a good team, people who are equally invested and committed as you, and you need at least some level of coining. And it doesn't need to be a lot, maybe $300 to $400 a month. That will put you in a very good spot, in my opinion.
yeah.
Alright, guys, thank you very much for your time. Uh,
Yeah.
yes, Khalid, what do you want to say?
Thank you.
Okay, I booted him from the stage again. Okay, guys, good night. Thank you very much for speaking. Thank you, Hitman.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks, guys.
Good
Cheers.
night.